Hi, boys and girls. The purpose of this screencast is to help you to understand the learning cycle in your classroom. You've probably seen this board hanging up in your classroom. We call this the GPS board, and it has all of the parts of the learning cycle on it. We call it a learning cycle because it's a lot like a wheel. A wheel keeps spinning and spinning around, and you keep doing it over and over again. That's very similar to the learning cycle. You're going to start in one spot, spin all the way around, and then do it again. Now, when you start your learning cycle, your teacher is going to give you a learning target or a standard. Now, target and standard basically mean the same thing, but every teacher likes to decide whether to use the word target or standard. So you can ask your teacher which one he or she prefers. An example of a target or standard might be something like, I can write a sentence. It could be something like, I can add numbers, or I can read a book. Anything that you are trying to learn. So first we start with a target or standard. Once we have that target or standard from our teacher, we're going to start at the very top of the learning cycle, which of course is going to say learn. That makes sense. We have to learn all about this particular target or standard. So let's go ahead and stick with the I can write a sentence. So we need to learn how to write a sentence before we can do anything else. So when you go into Buzz or do any other type of activity that your teacher gives you, you're going to learn and also usually practice that skill. So if I needed to learn and practice how to write a sentence, my teacher might give me a video or a movie to watch to help me understand that. Or maybe my teacher might even give me some type of game to play to help me write a sentence. There could be many other types of activities that your teacher gives you as well, but you want to make sure that you are starting to learn and practice your target or standard. After that you have learned and practiced, and you'll probably do 3, 4, 5 activities to help you learn, you can actually move through the learning cycle. You can take your magnet from learn and go this direction, just the way, think about the way a clock moves. Goes right in this direction. We can move now to a conference. Now a conference, I'm sure you've heard of parent-teacher conferences, but this is a conference between just you and your teacher. After you finish your learns, your teacher is going to sit down with you and make sure that you understood those activities in the learn and the practice. This is a great way to ask your teacher questions if you were not understanding something or if you have any questions. After you're done with your conference, your teacher is also going to help you decide the next part, which if you keep moving down our cycle here, is called the apply. This is really the most fun part of the learning cycle. The apply is going to allow you to prove that you know how to do your target or standard. So in our example, this is where you would prove that you can write a sentence. Now this part's fun because your teacher is going to give you lots of different options to show that you know how to write a sentence. We usually call this evidence. You have to provide evidence that you understand your target or standard. Your teacher might ask you to make a poster. Maybe your teacher might ask you to make your own movie using an iPad or a camera. Your teacher might ask you to be a teacher yourself and teach a friend in the class how to write a sentence. So this is really where you get to use your creativity and work with your teacher to find an activity that's best for you. But you do need to prove that you know your target or standard. Once you've completed your apply, and your teacher will check that, you then move to the last part of the learning cycle, which is assess. Now, assess is just a fancy word for a test or a quiz. Now, this is usually a really short test or quiz at this point. It might only be 3 questions. Your teacher might ask you this test out loud. Your teacher might give you a piece of paper with some questions on it, or your teacher may actually even make a quiz or a test in Buzz for you to take on the computer. There's many different ways to take a test. So, we said the learning cycle was like a wheel. So even though we just hit the last part of the learning cycle, it doesn't mean our learning is over. Now you've proved that you can write a sentence, but there are many, many, many more targets and standards for you to master for your level. So once your teacher gives you another learning target or standard, you will then start back at the learn again and then go through the whole cycle. So learn and practice, conference, apply, and assess. And do notice that in the very middle of your board, you have this big word. What does this say? Yeah, this says help. So at any time during the day, as you're doing your targets and standards, if you have a question or you're not understanding something or you just need your teacher's help, go ahead and put your magnet right there in the middle of the board, and your teacher will know that he or she needs to come and help you out with something. Well, boys and girls, I hope this helped you to understand the learning cycle a little bit better, and we'll see you soon on another screencast. Bye.